Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing AP Human Geography. If you haven't already, check out my YouTube short about the vocabulary word. Let's get on in. 2.1, hola mi, population density, population distribution, my bad guys. So aliens live on a small percentage of the planet. The world contains 7 times as many people today as it did 2 centuries ago. So the population density has increased significantly. So how population density is the measure of average population per square kilometer. It measures how crowded people are. So it's saying that more people got crowded over time. So it's saying people are living in places that are extremely crowded, like New York City, Chicago, Washington, D.C., because Washington, D.C. is crowded because all the government buildings are there. So if you want to work there, then it's going to be crowded. And New York City is just like a crowded building or city. However, population distribution has not. So it's been the same distribution from the time of 2 centuries ago till now. For example, Eastern China is one of the most populated parts of the world. In 1800, it is still today, and still today is today the same population density. Miss, please get off your phone in class. Thank you. So, alright, so we left off. People want to live in places where they can survive with relative ease and comfort. Places where they can obtain food and live in moderate climates. So they want the climates not to be too hot and not to be too cold. They want it to be just right. And they want to be able to get food, be able to have food. Around the 1800s, when the population was only 1 billion, people were dispersed throughout such lands. As population increased, the amount of stable land, suitable land, stayed about the same. So the amount of suitable land stayed the same from the 1800s till now. As population increased, the amount of suitable land stayed the same. So people choose to live in greater densities of the same land. Human geographers try to explain why people live where they do. It includes the study of 2 distinct but related concepts. Population distribution is the pattern of human settlement, the spread of people across the earth, representing it on a map, highlighting places that are crowded, sparsely settled, or even empty. Population density is a measure of average population per square mile or kilometer of an area. It measures how crowded a place is. So understanding both of these will help, and density helps make important decisions on issues such as where to set the boundaries of electoral districts or where to develop new housing. These are among the many issues influenced by the number of distribution and density of the current projected population. So it's saying they're trying to see, using these two, where they can set up stuff. Physical factors influence population distribution. Survival for the earliest humans depended on food, water, and shelter. Thus, survival depended on food. You need these to live. So people settled in the place where they had these so they could live. Good. Thus, these hunter-gatherers settled where those features are most rapidly available. Similarly, people today have the same basic needs, which helps explain why the population distribution has remained similar over time. The map of Earth's population distribution today below shows where the highest densities and the largest number of people live today. So we have the mid-latitudes. So most people live in the mid-latitudes region. The regions below 30 and 60 degrees north and south of the equator. Do you have any questions so far?
No.
Okay. Are you understanding?
Yes.
Okay. So pop quiz right now. We're asking a question. Population density. What is it? Go.
The amount of population in a certain region.
Yes. Good job.
Thank you.
No problem. So then, these areas have moderate climates and better soil. So they have better soil, moderate climates. So what people would go there and live there?
Farmers.
Yes, people in agriculture. Okay, and then, where are we? And soils that do regions at higher or lower latitudes. This pattern is particularly noticeable in the northern hemisphere because it includes more land than the southern hemisphere. Low-lying areas. Most people live in low-lying areas rather than high altitude areas such as mountains. Low-lying areas are typically have better soil for raising crops than do upland or high altitude areas. In addition, these areas are often close to oceans, which facilitate transportation. So they need transportation to exchange goods from countries. So let's say if we wanted gold from like Asia, I don't know, it would use transport. So from the sea to the actual place. Provide a source of food and have a effect on temperature. Oceans keep the land warmer in the winter and cooler in the summer. So that's why my people might go near oceans. So like in Corpus, if you want to go like near the ocean, it would have like colder temperatures. Now we have other factors. Most people live near lakes or rivers, like Canyon Lake. People need fresh water to drink, and they can use it for irrigation, transport, and provide food. Regions of the world where it is difficult for humans to typically have low population numbers and densities. These include deserts, high latitude, cold climates where agriculture is challenging. Lower population densities are found in tropics where diseases is more preventable and poor soils make farming difficult. Political decisions sometimes bring clusters of population to isolated locations where physical attributes would not normally attract settlements. For example, in 1950, Canada wanted a military base that could monitor possibly hostile actions by a country known as the Soviet Union, also called Russia. Holla, Russia. So to establish a military base, alert on the north edge of its territory near Russia, in a land of ice, snow, and bitterly cold temperature. Skills of analysis is coming back. Remember Unit 1, it was always good, you needed it. And physical factors. So on a global scale, regions with very high elevations, mountains regions such as in the Himalayas with Andes and the Rocky Mountains, and the Rocky Mountains have cold climates, so such places usually have limited populations. However, elevation is sometimes important at the city level. People might prefer living elevation is sometimes important at living at the highest elevations in a city because these spots offer cool breezes, safety from floods, and inspiring views of the landscape. At a regional scale, climate can also explain population distribution of a state such as California, where the climate varies greatly within the state. So which is a good area to live. For example, coastal California has a very large population compared to the desert and mountain regions of the interior. On a large or local scale, such as a city, the spiritual climate variation is usually too small. So we have human factors. Polluted air is a health hazard. So this is a health hazard. So more pollution in the city, state. So let's say California. New York. New York, there's a lot of population because there's a lot of taxis going around, but without taxis, there wouldn't be a large population because most people walk because it's a lot of traffic to go everywhere. And then, like, in Washington, D.C., there's less pollution because most people walk from place to place because it's, like, close together. Yet it may signal industrialization, economic development, and a more employment opportunities. On a global and national scale, millions of people are attracted to cities in search for economic opportunities, and they might knowledgeably move to a polluted area. A pollution source, unless they have to live there because of lower poverty values, make it more affordable. Government also has a significant influence on population distribution on different scales. A national government might increase the population of an area or building, so a new military base. A state might reduce the population, creating a new state park. A city government might affect the population distribution by allowing high-rise apartments, buildings, and some area topics. So if you want to learn more, go see 6.6, and yes, sir. So we now have social satisfaction, the hierarchical diffusion of people into groups based on factors such as economic status, power, and or ethnicity. Cities are characterized by regions and neighborhoods where the local population shares a characteristics and distinguishes from other neighborhoods. For example, a neighborhood with large homes and parks would likely have families with children. Okay, so we already covered population density, so I might skip that. So we need to cover arithmetic population density. This arithmetic and this in agriculture I explained them briefly in my last video, my YouTube shorts. So if you didn't watch that already, go check it out because I'm not going to explain it that good because I already explained it. So, well, what is it? It's calculated by dividing the number a region's population by its total area. In 2019, the United States had a population of approximately 3 million, whatever that number is, in a total area of 3,841,999 square miles. Therefore, its arithmetic population density was 84.5 square miles per 35.9 people per square kilometer. Okay, now we're going to go down to psychological population density, calculated by dividing the population by the amount of land, or land sustainable for growing crops. Egypt, for example, recently had a psychological density of 8,078 square miles compared to an arithmetic density of 226 square miles. So, Egypt's high sources. So, yeah, you can look at the table. You can pause and look at this table. Zoom in on the table, please. Thank you, cameraman. Okay. So, we have agricultural population density. So, it is, this value gives, agricultural population compares the number of farmers to the area of land that is used for farming. Low agricultural densities because the farmers have reduced. Developed countries have lower agricultural densities because they have more technology to do the work for that. They don't need farmers and stuff. Just more talking.